Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Titans Basic Training Module 2. Actually, this is the day 2 or second module, which is covered by our Titans founders. So we had the first module last week. I'm pretty sure it was very important for our ground activities and all that. So warmly welcome you all from different parts of the world who are attending from North America to New Zealand. So we had our previously last Tuesday, the module 1. It covers very, very important areas by the same facilitator. So today we are going to do the next one. So before going to that, I again like to welcome our partners who come from different parts of the world. Of course, for today, for me now, it's almost dinner time, 8 p.m. Sri Lanka. But I know it's morning time for North America and Central America, especially Canada and USA. For the Europe, maybe it's 2 o'clock or something around that after the lunch. And same for African continent. I know a lot of partners today from Europe, especially Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Germany, France, Italy, Switzerland, UK. We have a lot of partners from UK and Italy and other France and Germany also. So we covered not only Western Europe, Africa region, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and Ghana, and Congo, even South Africa. And from Middle East region, we cover all GCC countries, Saudi, Bahrain, Qatar, Oman, Dubai, like that, and even Israel also there. And from, we are very big in South Asia, especially our founders are from South Asia region, and top leaders, most of them are. So from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, and Maldives. And we have very wonderful markets in Southeast Asia. That means Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines also. So not only that, I see, I forgot one country, that's Indonesia. We have few partners from Indonesia also. And from East Asia from Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan. And finally, Australia and New Zealand. I know for Australia and New Zealand, they pass the midnight also, especially New Zealand. So again, welcome you all for Titans Basic Training. So, this is very important program. It will really important to develop our basic skills and knowledge. So you have to keep a notebook and pen. I repeated this same ground rules last week also. I'm very sure you have attended some programs and now you know what are the do's and don'ts in especially online Zoom trainings. So make sure you are always keep muted, but you have to keep on or on position your video, because our facilitator, once he saw your lovely faces, he gets some encouragement, excitement, and his passion, I'm very sure, will increase once he see you from the screen. Okay, so make sure you keep on mute. If your signals are very low, only that situation you can off video also. But otherwise, if the signals are okay, keep video on and 100% focus for this thing. This is very rare chance you get such a amazing training by our founders, Titans founders. So from the beginning in my life, I'm almost 17 years in this business now. I joined to the business 17 years and last 16 years I full-time do the business. So from the beginning for my career, this gentleman, our main facilitator, helped us. He came to Sri Lanka and give the guidance and knowledge from the beginning to develop Titan system in Sri Lanka. So he's a very calm and quiet person, but he's very powerful from here. You know, once a person very calm and quiet, he's powerful from here. They can do lot of things, very huge changes. So he gave his contribution 100% to Sri Lanka to develop Sri Lankan market. And not only that, there are a lot of markets, big markets, especially in Africa region and South Asia. And not only that, Middle East region also, especially Qatar and all that, Qatar, Dubai and all that. He has huge networks. And Uganda and East Africa, Rwanda and all that, he has very big networks. So he's an associate V partner in our V team, which is the training arm of our mother company. And he's a very important guy at the VCon. You know, every year we have annual conference called V Conference in Malaysia. He's one of top person in the organizing group of V team. So he not only that, he's a founding partner of Titans. Titans is our team. You know, within the network there are several teams like that, but Titans is the fast group, and it has the most powerful supporting structure among all other groups in our mother company, all other group teams in our mother company. So I don't need to take any more time. So I would like to introduce this humble, powerful, our grand upline, one of senior upline, associate V partner, Balaji Kumar. Please help me welcome Balaji Kumar.
Hi, Bhuvan, everyone. Good evening. Whichever part of the world you are joining, thank you very much. And I'm sure that it's a great moment for everyone to be here. So I will start with where I finished last week. And I'm sure that all of you are carrying your pen and notebook, and you are writing enough notes. Once again, let me remind you that these notes are for application purpose. It's not there for keeping it in the books. You have to start applying it. And like last week, we have discussed about a couple of things, which I'm going to just do a wrap up, a repeat for you. First of all, this is a digital era of Titans. As last week we announced it, and started with our grand upline V partner Arun George giving the welcome training for all the new IRs who are joining on Saturday, followed by a business presentation, global business presentation on Sunday, which is done by my good friend and associate V partner Manoj. And on every Tuesday, we are doing this training program, which is a module based. So these trainings and this system, this global system which we have set, our expectation is you should equip yourself and understand the power of team and the support structure which we are creating for you to grow into this business. You have so many wonderful uplines and the working uplines at your level who are also working hard on a day-to-day basis along with you to grow your organization. So whatever it takes basically to build your business, we are providing you. The most important in this entire journey is you. If you are willing to go ahead one step, we are giving you all the tools which will necessary to make this journey faster for you. So if you are thinking about your dream, your why, if you would like to achieve it in 3 years, we will make sure that how this can be possible within next 1.5 years. So we are fulfilling our promises Your upliners are fulfilling their promises. They are working hard more than ever. They're all the time helping you to achieve your goals, your weekly targets. We discussed last week about the why. Why exactly it is important for you to get started in this business. What is your why? What's your dream? What's your goal? What is the target which you are looking forward to? We also covered the 5 core skills, and we covered that why it is important for you to follow a system. Out of the main skills, we covered prospecting, and we also covered making a list and how to select the best people and how to do invitation for them to come into the presentation. So all of these skills are independent of each other, and all of these skills are actually having an objective. Each one of these skills have an objective to achieve. We will go into the module 2, which is the second module in this, where we will be covering the rest of the skills. So let me share I'm going to share the presentation, and at the same time you will see me on one side, and I'll be coming back here to discuss few points with my experience. And I hope that you will have some questions which you will be able to interact with your working upline, because these skills or these trainings is not something which I have created. This is I would say the experience of all 4 of us who have went through this journey in last 20 years. We also gathered this from our leaders, what they are facing and what was their experience in their journey. So we have taken it that, and we have made it, we have made a capsule format. So it's not that one time when you are going to go through it, you will master or you will become a master at it. But this is something which you have to keep on going. You have to keep on learning so that you get in maximum points at application time. I'm sure it will be there in your drive, and from your drive you can use it. Okay, and this is a wonderful drive which we all have. So keep this drive here open, empty, so that you can take as much as possible. And at the same time, you should also write down so that the important points you are able to refer it from time to time. So we'll go with the flow. So we'll start with presentation, the module number 2, which will be presentation. Let me remind you that this is a part of a system. Now, why this is a part of the system and why we need to follow it is because system is not a buffet. It has to be followed 100%. So we cannot jump from info and invitation. When we have given an invitation to somebody, we are not expecting that person to join immediately. We have to go through, we have to complete the process of doing a presentation. We need to understand that what exactly is the body, what is the business which we are talking about. And that is what is our presentation is all about. Now, there is a process which we need to do before the presentation, which is qualification. And last module, I discussed a little bit about qualification. I spoke to about that you must be able to do the presentation only to the qualified prospects. Now, who is the qualified prospect? Qualified prospect is somebody whom you are thinking to become a suitable partner. Like, let me go back to the example which I have told, that if you were asked to create a team of people with whom you are willing to work in a corporate, you will probably look into their qualification. But before that, looking into their qualification, you should also understand that what is our requirement. Who is the most suitable candidate for our business? And if the person is not suitable enough, then it is important that you should be able to reject them. Because most people here spend time initially without knowledge. You might be spending time with the wrong set of people. So how do you get a right guy? How do you get a right person? You get a right person by doing this process of qualification. Qualification will separate suspect from a prospect. So what is this qualification? Now, qualification, you can do it at the time after invitation. That means when you did already the invitation, now you are sitting with the prospect. And when you are sitting with the prospect, then you can do first qualification. So it can be a standalone 15 to 20 minutes process. Or it can be a process which is just before the presentation, means at the time of the presentation, you are combining both the things, that is qualification and then presentation. And if the person doesn't qualify, I would suggest that not to go ahead with the presentation, because that is the most important thing. Time is something which is very, very valuable thing. You and maybe the richest person in the world have the same time. So once you spend this time with somebody, all right, and with a wrong person, that time is not going to come back to you. So you must be spending time in the correct manner. So you must be spending time with the right people. So how do you differentiate? You differentiate by asking questions. And these are the qualifying questions. Now, these qualifying questions is sometimes it may be a scenario that you are the working upline. That means you are doing the presentation. And now your new IR has brought a prospect. So obviously the new IR may have given an information or may not have given an information. So it's very important that you should be doing the qualification at that time. But those of you who know already how to present, you can start doing your own qualification with your prospects. So most of the time it starts with breaking the ice. You break the ice, you exchange your pleasantries, you ask him that, okay, how was your, where are you working? Where are you from? Where is your family? Who's overall there in your family? How many kids are they studying? They are not studying. What is your job? Where did you work before? So once you understand all of this information about this prospect, then you can ask the next question, that I hope you know that we are meeting for a business, or whether it is brought by your new IR. So you can always say that that I'm sure that you know that we are meeting for a business. Can I ask you a couple of personal questions? If at all you're looking out for this business, what will be the reason why you are looking for the business? So this can be your one of the breaking question. Or usually I ask to my prospects, like if the prospects have been brought by a new IR, usually I ask the prospect what information the new IR has given you. So I always ask, let's say, what information Nishanta has given you, or what information Nandana has given you. And I get to hear that. I listen to it. And most of the time people say that, oh, he has told me about some business, or some people just go ahead a little bit and they give a little bit of more information. Or sometimes people bring the other person just like that. They just bring the person saying that there is a business, there is a person who is going to do the presentation, and listen to the presentation. So in whichever is the scenario, you have to understand and you need to ask this question. If there is no difficulty on the resources, why would you want to do a business? So this is a very common question, and this can be your one of the opening question. Now understand that you are qualifying mainly everyone for 4 important points. So I'm discussing the first point, which is you must be able to focus on the why. Why that person need to do our business. That's the first point on which your discussion is. And you have to be very clearly listen to the person. So why do you need this business? So if the person is already in a job and he is looking out for this business, why does he need this business? And rather than you putting the words into prospect's mouth, you must be able to ask this question so that the person answers. So you expect that person to answer, I'm looking forward to make money, I'm looking for extra income. If the person says like that, then you ask him, how much money would you like to make in next 12 months? Or you can ask him that what is, let's say, given a scenario, next 3 to 5 years, what would you like to achieve? How much money do you want to make in next 5 years? So you are understanding from the prospect what is his need or what is his reason to get started with the business. Now let's say a person is already doing a business. If the person is already into some other business or he is a self-employed, you can have the same question. How long you are doing the business, you can ask that person, and that person says, let's say I am involved in 5 years now. Then you can ask the second question to him. Okay, sir, you are already doing a business. You are very successful in that. Why are you looking for another business? And now you get to hear again the reason. And once you understand the reason, you must talk about your own reason of doing the business. So usually I say, like I tell my story, is I tell them that when I started working in Bahrain, I was working as a chef. There were 2 points which actually prompted me to do this business. One, when I was looking at other people in Bahrain, they come usually with 2 years plan, but they stay like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So one of the reasons of starting this business was, can I stick to my 2 years plan? Can I make enough money and go back to where I come from? That was the first reason why I started this business. The second reason is, in my job, I could see that there was only two people who were above than me. I don't know whether you're familiar with the hotel industry, but I was like somebody who was like chef, the CDP, they call it as. And there was a sous chef and there was an executive chef. I was 24, the other person, sous chef, was 34, and executive chef was 55. I could understand very clearly, if I am going to go on this career path, it will take me maybe 10 years to reach to that position, and then another 30 years to reach into executive chef. So as I look above in the career, I could see there was only one post which I was looking for. And I knew their salaries also. So I was thinking that is it really important to wait this time to get this kind of a salary? If there is any other opportunity where I could make that same amount of money, then why not? So I was not looking for this business, but I was looking out for anything. In fact, I appeared for some US cruise liners interview and I got through also. But during that time, Arun introduced me to this opportunity. And within 1 month, 1.5 months, I already started thinking that if I can make almost equal to my salary from this business. So you need to talk to the prospect about your story. Why did you start it? What is the reason? Why are you doing this business? So when I was looking forward for the need to do this business, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was almost 10. And then later on, it became more than that. So you need to ask the prospect. So Mr. Prospect, where do you see yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? Where 10 being the maximum. How seriously are you looking forward for this business? And you would like to hear 10. And that's what is qualification on the dream and the goal is about. So you want the prospect to say that, yes, I am looking forward for this. The second point, which is the money, the cost of doing the business. The cost of doing the business is around $2,000. Now, $2,000 may not be at the first time, but eventually I'm telling you, if you are successful in this business, if you have decided to do this business seriously, you are going to invest somewhere between 5,000 to 10,000 or more than that in this business. You look at all successful people, you look at your own upliners, you talk to them and you ask them how many products they have. And each one of them will tell you they have invested so far $10,000 to $15,000 between themselves and their family members to be in this business. And they have reaped the rewards also in the equal manner. So you are also saying the prospect, so your flow is like this, is you say every business requires some capital to get started. Our business also requires a capital. We are looking forward for around $2,000, approximately $2,000 for a couple of products. How do you see this amount with you? Are you ready with this investment? So that is the second point, which is the money and the cost of doing the business. The third one is time. They must be willing to put forward time. So again, you can talk about your own story. Like I always say that I used to do this business in my break time. As working in the hotel, I used to work in the morning, during lunchtime and during dinner. But in between, there was a time which was 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And I used to make sure that between this 4 to 6, I will spend for this business. So how are you? How much time do you think you can give for this business? The business usually requires 14 to 20 hours at the beginning, and you must be willing to put forward more time when the rewards are high. And most of the people will say yes to it. And the fourth and the important aspect which you need to talk about is, are they coachable? Are they willing to work hard? Because this is a minimum 5 years project. Somewhere between 2 years, if you are willing to put forward more time, somewhere between 2 years to 5 years project to shift your quadrant. You remember the quadrant which you saw in the presentation? From the employee quadrant, that mindset, to an entrepreneur mindset. And all of people who you will say that they have spent almost similar kind of a time. Now I came from hotel industry. In fact, all three of us who are part of us, like Arun, myself, Manoj, we all came from hotel industry. But Cherian was like, he was a general manager for a company. He studied MBA from UK, highly qualified. He was a lawyer before, and he came into this industry. So Dr. Anil, who was part of our organization, he was a doctor, he was a dentist in Bahrain. So we all came from different industries to this industry, which is direct selling industry. But when we came to this industry, we understood that the rules for this industry is different. The game has to be played different. So are we willing to learn the new set of rules to play this game? So the question is, are you coachable? So you need to tell to the prospect that, are you coachable? And most people will say yes, because they may not understand it in deeply and they may just agree with you. But you must be willing to explain a little bit to them that there is a system which is important in our business to be successful. And they must be willing to follow the system diligently. So there is a platform on which we are all working. There is a system which we are all following. Are they willing to follow on 100%? And then you can go ahead and show the business presentation. So getting a commitment on these 4 points is very, very important. If not, if you are not getting a commitment from the prospect, let's say example, if the prospect says that I don't have $2,000 at this moment of time, your question could be, is how much are you willing to spare at this moment of time? Is there any way you could get started with $2,000? Either because all businesses are done with the borrowed funds. So are they willing to take or borrow it from somewhere, or apply for a loan, or to arrange that $2,000? Because you and me, we understand the power of multiple tracking centers, or what we call it as multiple positions. So you want the person to get started with that, because that is in his benefit rather than in your benefit. The second is, let's say somebody can say that Okay, my goal is $1 million. So it may be a bit of a satire, sarcasm. It may be possible. But you need to talk a little bit about your own personal story so that you can relate it to the person. So be very practical in your approach, listen and ask questions which is more relevant to that prospect. Focus on why so that you have a clarity. Build relationship. This is also your time to build relationship. One of the very important aspect which I will say is find a connection between you and the prospect somewhere. Either it is maybe in the line of work, or it may be the place, maybe the language, whatever it is, but find some kind of a connection between you and the prospect so that the rest of the presentations go in a very, very smooth manner. Now, how do you qualify? Let's say example, okay, this is a one-on-one situation, but how do you qualify in a group? Let's say now you are talking to a group of people. How do you qualify? You know, your qualification has to be a personal. Now, these questions which I have written here, which you right now on the screen, I am sure all of you can do this by little bit of practice. So write down your own words, write in your own words, maybe in your own language, these 4 aspects, how you are willing to come across with a prospect. Because this is something which you will be doing. In fact, all the skills which I am going to discuss with you and your uplines are going to discuss with you is something which we are going to do in our business on a repetitive manner. You can say one time repetition within yourself, repetition. Can you say repetition? So when you do repetition, when you are repeating everything, so why not write it down once? Because once you write it down, you're going to follow it every time. So that will become your reference, and at the same time, before you start any meeting, you are going to go through that. So qualification is very, very important, because if you don't qualify and you will be doing the presentation, let's say example, you have not qualified and you are going to do the presentation, what are you expecting? You are expecting that person should look at you, person should look at the presentation, what you're doing, person should look at your whatever your body language or the things which you are carrying, or person should look at the calculation or the product, and you are thinking that they must be impressed, they should be impressed, which may be right. You may get lucky, but again, going back to my module number 1, it is not simple and it is not duplicable. You may be able to do it, but I'm telling you, people down or people who are becoming a partner with you, they will not be able to do it. So it's very important that you should go and follow a system properly so that it is simple and duplicable, and it is also teachable to other people. All right, so I'll go with the presentation. Now the presentation in our business is done in, I would say, about three different manners. One is we do it on one-on-one basis. That means 2 people together, like your IR has brought 1 person and then you are going to do the presentation. The other presentation manner is usually you do it in a home meeting, or we do it in a smaller group. Like you will have maybe 2 to 3 people, prospects brought in by different IRs. You might be meeting at a place and a house, and then you are coming as a working upline and you are doing the presentation. And the third method is a group presentation where a lot of people are coming and you are going to do that presentation. And usually that happens either in, let's say, in a hotel, or maybe you are doing it in your own office, all of these places. Now, last, I would say about 3 months and maybe coming few months, of course, we are shifting this mode to online. So whatever we used to do in offline must be able to do in online. So before we start with the presentation, what you must do is, when you are doing an online presentation, you must do something which is called as a pre-talk. Pre-talk means now you have not started with the presentation, but just a conversation before the presentation. And this conversation before the presentation, what you must do is, one of the important thing is you must be able to check the internet connection. Second thing is you must be able to check whether the person has an application called as Zoom, because if you're doing it on the Zoom or you are doing it on the Google platform, whichever platform, whether that platform has been downloaded and is kept ready with them. Number 3 is they must have a notebook and a pen, because you are not physically there to monitor. And one of the most important thing is they should not be doing a multitasking while attending a presentation. That means they must be sitting somewhere and watching to the presentation. Because many people have this habit of multitasking, doing something else and then listening. I'm sorry if some of you are doing multitasking, listening to my training and trying to do something else. It doesn't work, because your mind requires this focus. So next 1.5 hour, whatever we have together, you sit down one place and listen to it. Similarly, when you are attending a presentation, somebody is attending a presentation, they should not be doing a multitasking. They should be looking forward to the screen. An important aspect is you do something which is called as edification of the presenter. Now, whether you are doing whichever mode of presentation, whether it's a one-on-one, you are doing a group or home meeting, you must edify the presenter. That means the person who is going to do the presentation, you must have a profile, a brief profile of that person, and you must be willing to give that brief profiling to the prospect. So what is edification? Let's say example. If I were to edify, and some of you have heard now Suraj doing edification for me. And we are also doing edification. When we are doing edification for a presenter, you must be able to talk about the past background of that person. You must be able to talk about how long that person is doing the business and how far he has become successful. The most important thing which I want is basically that they must be looking forward, they must be positive, and they must be ready to absorb whatever this person says. So usually I will edify, let's say example, if I need to edify Suraj and Suraj is going to do the presentation, I will say that Suraj belongs to you. Suraj is a very senior coach in our business, and he is basically mentoring me personally in this business. He has been in the business for last 17 years. But having busy, he has taken out 1 hour for you. So I want this 1 hour of yours to be paid 100% attention to this guy, Suraj. Whatever he says, take each word very, very seriously and listen to it. And this is also a golden opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentations so that you will get the correct guidance from him. He is the person who is coaching me personally. So this is the way how you can edify somebody who is going to do a presentation. Now, edification need not be for a very experienced person. Edification can be for a 3 months old person also in our business who is doing already a presentation. Because if he is able to take out the time for you, it is just to change you or change your life for that moment from there onwards. So it must be respected, his time must be valued, and it has to be paid with 100% attention. So edification is something which should be a part of your pre-talk or just before the presentation. Now I'm going to discuss the outline of the presentation. I will not go into the detail of the presentation. I recommend that you must, if you are a very new person and listening to this module, listening to this training, you must attend 15 to 20 presentations of your working upline. And each time when you attend it, make notes. Make notes in your own way, how you understand it. Then after some time, you should make notes word by word. Because that is the only way how we are going to learn. I learned it in that way. When Arun used to do presentation, when our V partner, like our upline V partner Mahendra Kumar used to do presentation, we all used to make notes word by word. So the usual presentation is going to take about 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes between that. In that, the body of the presentation will take about 45 minutes to 50 minutes maximum. And there must be some kind of a pre-talk, and there must be also a post-talk, which is, I will call it, I'll come to that. So our presentation can be divided into 6 P's. The first, I will call it as purpose, which is purpose of doing the meeting. The purpose can be also breaking the ice, going through the qualification, because you have not actually met the person, you have not qualified it in the pre-talk, then this is the time for you to do a qualification. You must be also able to tell the flow of the meeting and also lay out the ground rules. The first ground rule is like they should pay 100% attention. No checking phones and multitasking in between, being focused. If they have any question, write it down, because most of the questions can be answered during the course of the presentation. And they must be able to come up with some kind of a decision, or you must be able to fix up a time to do a closing meeting. So these are the ground rules which you can set before, ground rules which you can set during the purpose. And you will also discuss about purpose of doing this business. The profile is all about the company profile. It's all about QI group, the local company representation. How big is the company? With whom they are getting associated? I hope you know that we are buying the product, but at the same time, we are also becoming a partner with the company. So what kind of a partner you are becoming with the company. If QI was a person, then if QI looks at you, QI should also think, who is my partner? Then comes is the product. So whether you are presenting one product, you are sticking on to two products, or maybe multiple products, just stick to that. Now your idea here is a word of caution. The word of caution is not here. You are not here doing a product training. The idea is basically to talk about a little bit of features and more benefits. So you must be able to pass on that message. The plan is the calculation. How will you get paid? There is, sorry. Can somebody check on the control? There is some control has come. Okay, let me continue. I don't know. You got to take it out. This it is writing the we requested to control your camera. All right. So you where was I? Okay, I was talking about the calculation. Okay, calculation is basically the business plan. And you talk about also the potential. That means how much money we can make from this business. And finally, we will talk about the positioning. By showing the benefits of the business is you are going to talk about the positioning. Positioning is why it is important for you to get started today. Why it is important for them to make a decision now. Now you need to basically look into the presentation as not the most important thing. It is important, but before what you do the presentation, that is the most important thing, because presentation is a very, very standard thing. We are not going to change. You and me, we are not going to change. As long as we are associated with QI Group, our 3,000 business volume is $200. So presentation is a very standard thing and you can learn it very, very fast. We always practice a methodology, which is, we call it as 7-to-1, where you must be able to do a presentation within your first 10 presentations. Once you observe these 10 presentations, you must be able to do it. Because the first 7 presentations, you observe and make notes. The next 2 presentations, you must be able to do it simultaneously along with your working upline. And the last one is maybe in the presence of working upline, you do it all alone. And that's the way in which you learn the presentation. The moment you learn the presentation, you are almost getting closer to being independent. Because so far, whenever you wanted to do the presentation, you used to think that your upline is going to come or somebody is going to come and he is going to do the presentation. But once you learned it, how to do it, then you can present anywhere. You are traveling, or you maybe you come across someone who is very interested, wants to know. Somebody has visited your house and he wants to find out what exactly you are engaged in. If you know the presentation, you can show. So it's very important that once you have achieved a certain level, let's say you got about 2 checks, 3 checks in this business, then you should know how to present. Always create a folder, but as we are doing it online, have the presentation ready, have the notes ready with you, prepare it, keep it, because you don't know when you need it. So make yourself 100% equipped Now this is a skill. So presentation is a skill, like I said, is basically all skills. When you learn it and you constantly go through it, you take away one important factor which is always there in your mind, is luck. Because majority of the people, we'll still feel that yes, he got success because he got lucky. He got this person because he was lucky. So if we need to take out this factor of the luck, we need to replace it with skill. And all skills are learnable. And how do you learn it? You just write down, practice, get the exact words coming, because our business is 100% dependent on the power of words. If we are not speaking the words in the way we want it, then we will not get the impact from the person. So it has to come in this manner. Have you observed actors or actresses? We believe that Tom Hanks or Shah Rukh Khan or any such actors like Vijay or whoever it is, we feel that they are justifying their part. They are giving their 100%. But do you really know that they have been given that script months in advance, written down, and nothing comes automatically? They just go through this script so many times. They rehearse, they revise, they memorize it. And finally what they do, they put emotions into it. So when they put emotions into it, we see it on the screen. When we see it on the screen, we say, oh wow. So the idea here is basically that you need to remove this luck factor. Everyone in this business, whoever you see successful, they have just got it by practicing enough. So I'm getting into the next important skill, which is closing. Closing and sign up almost happens simultaneously. Okay, you close someone, and then sign up is just a ritual. It's like a purchase order you are taking, and putting it into the system. So closing, if you see the word closing, C is the most important thing. Because if you're not looking at the C, then what is the word? The word is losing. And what is the C is all about? So C is all about confidence. The C is all about control. The C is all about compassion. So this C plays a so vital role in this process of closing. Because when you're doing the closing, you're dealing with that prospect's two important things. First, I would say, is doubt. Because he has a doubt. He has a doubt that all of a sudden, my close friend, my relative, my colleague in my office who was working, and I know my relative since childhood, how is this person all of a sudden dreaming of becoming a millionaire? Or how is this person is all of a sudden talking about money, talking about building a house, getting a car, traveling around the world? So he has obviously this big factor called as doubt. Because he is not able to believe it. Similarly, when he is looking or he is listening to the story, or he may be looking into that person, also physically he is listening, and his words are also reaching from a very successful person in our business, but still he is not able to digest that how a business which looks very simple, such a simple business, can make somebody a millionaire. Because otherwise, to make money, somebody has to study so many years, they need to work hard, they need to go through so much of experience, then they elevate themselves, and then they start making money. Or in the usual business world also, a person has to go through so much of hassle to make end of the day cash positive situation. So he is not really able to believe that his money making can be so simple. So that obviously that rises up the doubt. And our industry has been a very open industry. So our industry, the methodology has been copied by good people, also copied by bad people. And it has a past of 100 years. And these 100 years, so many companies have come who have got used to scam people or cheat people. They ran away from different countries. So we have this past in so many countries getting used by different companies. So they are also comparing. So that also rises up the level of the doubt in their mind. And they have fear. The fear is nothing but failing. The fear of failure. Let's say example, if we come across a prospect, if you come across a prospect and after showing the business plan, you told the prospect, okay, Mr. Prospect, thank you very much for listening to this presentation. Okay, here is your your money investment, which you need to put for this business to get started. And by the way, when you get started, I am also going to give you approximately 6 partners. This is my promise. When you say like that, do you think any prospect is going to reject you? Nobody. No one will reject you when you promise them that you are going to reach or you are going to give them 6 partners to get started in this business. Why? Because every business, we will relate it with insecurity. It is not safe. Every job, it has been put in our mind that it is safe. A job is safe. A business is not safe. One is secure, other one is insecure. So when I am showing the business plan, when you are showing the business plan, the prospect immediately thinks, oh my God, I am going to fail in this. And that's the first point why people give you questions or why people give you objections. And you, as the most important person there, that means you have invited your prospect to listen to the presentation. You being the most important person, you have to handle with the prospect's doubt and the prospect's fear. And that is what is your work in this process of closing and signing. I hope I'm clear in this point. I'm putting this point very clearly to you that this doubt and fear, this is what you are doing, handling in the process of closing. So what I'm going to go through is some of the practical things, and I'm going to explain it, but the whole summary of this entire process is you are going to handle the doubt and fear of the prospect. How confidently you are able to do it, the sign up is going to happen much more faster. So closing conversation is the first conversation which you are going to have immediately after the presentation. Now, closing conversation means if some of your okay, can I request Mr. Noela Ranatunga, can you just decline the request which you have put here, if it is possible? I'm not able to go through the PowerPoint and somehow I'm not able to take out this. Mr. Noela Ranatunga, wherever you are, if you're listening to me, just decline the request which you have made. I don't know. Okay, let me try. Okay, I did it myself. Thank you. All right, so closing conversation has to be done after the presentation. So this can happen immediately after the presentation. So like we are doing nowadays on Zoom. So as the Zoom meeting finishes or Zoom presentation is finished, immediately what you should do is you should also do a meeting after the presentation is over along with your prospect, maybe for 10 minutes, but just have an initial discussion. And this is what I will call it as a closing conversation, which is after the presentation. And you should do a follow-through meetings until the person signs up. So keep a 48-hour rule. 48-hour rule, if you have 48-hour rule in which you need to do the follow-up. Because any meeting, any meetings which you have done after that, let's say after the first 48 hours, usually the prospect will forget. It's not that they want to forget, but the point is today we are bombarded with so many marketing materials. And so many people who are contacting us on a day-to-day basis. So for your prospect, you have done another invitation. So this is not something which is new for him. He is busy. Now you are asking him time after 2 to 3 days. The interest which you have built up during the presentation, it automatically dies down as the time goes more. If you want to follow up somebody after 1 week, after 2 weeks, is almost like you have to do a new presentation completely. And your follow-up has to happen. There is no automatic thing. I know you may think that you may say that, okay, Balaji, but I have done the presentation. If he has to come, he has to come. Yes, I know. But follow-up has to happen. And it has to happen by you, because they will never realize the importance of it. They will never get the importance of it. I'm telling you, nobody gets up in the morning thinking that they need to buy a Biodis today. Nobody will get up in the morning and thinking that they need to buy a watch today. But everyone who gets up in the morning thinks about how to feed their family, how to keep the monthly budget going on, how to get to the next goal, how to pay the school fees of the children. This is what every man is thinking in the morning. So obviously, your presentation is not the most important thing for them. It may be a way which you are thinking. Right now, he is not thinking in that way. So it's very important that you must do a follow-up. You have to ask. If you ask, then only you will get it. If you don't ask, you will never get it. I can be as simple as that. So let me talk about the closing conversation. The closing conversation is the first conversation which you are going, the first question which you are going to make. Okay, let me again also little bit clarify you where people, what they do is when they talk about, let's say after the presentation, most of the people ask, how was the presentation? Which is wrong, which is a close-ended question, because the prospect is going to say it was good, and then you don't have anything to again talk. Again, you need to frame the question and you need to ask. So you must be able to ask an open-ended question, an open-ended question which will give you opportunity to talk. Remember the first thing which I told you, you are handling the prospect's fear and the doubt. And you have to get to that fear and doubt, because not everybody will tell you, this is my fear, Balaji, this is my doubt. Because they may know it, they may not be able to tell you. Or they may not know about it. So it's very important for you to get to that, the fear and doubt. And that is why you are using the questions, and best way to ask questions after questions, so that the control is always in your hand. As I told you, closing, the C is control. So open-ended questions, some of the examples, and it's a series, and I would suggest you to write it down. Let me just go through it so that you understand the importance of it. You can also take a screenshot or something like that, but you can write it down. That will be better, so that your mind absorbs it. So first question which you are going to ask after the presentation, as the presentation got over, and you are going to ask the first question is there any question which you are not clear about? Is there any question in the presentation which you are not clear about? The second question which you can ask is, from what we discussed so far, what did you like the most? And most people will talk about, I liked product, I liked company, I liked the system, I like the money part. So when they say one answer, let's say example, if the person says, I like the product, I like the product about, then the next question can be, what did you like about it? And the person says, let's say example, that I like the health benefits which it gives you, which it gives me. I like the luxury part. I think that vacation, I will really enjoy the vacation. I will really enjoy the place. Then you can ask the next question, why is that important for you? Why is your health important to you? In other way, you are asking the question. And the person replies. And once you listen, then you can ask, How are you paying for it? By the way, how many products do you want it? And you can also ask that how is he paying? Is he paying by the card? Is he paying by the cash? You can explain how do we get the electronic cards in some of the countries where we have the bank drafts. So you can also talk about the bank drafts. You can also ask, if the person says about the product, then you can say that apart from that, what else did you like? And now you expect that person to say about the business. I like the money making part. Or some prospect will say that I like the money making part. And then you can go to the next one. Sorry. So you mean to say that you like the money which you are making from this business. Is that correct? So to give you an idea, to give him an idea, you can ask the question, how much money do you want to make in next 12 months in this business? And you wait for his answer. You expect that person to give you some kind of an answer which is more in the realistic manner. So something between $30,000 to 50,000 US dollars in your first 1 year is something which you are expecting it from your new IR, brand new IR. And once that person says about that, you can also ask, what are you going to do with it? And then he says that, okay, I want to buy this, I want to invest, I want to buy a land, I want to keep it for my future savings, or I would like to travel, or I always wanted to buy this, I could not bought it, so I'm planning to buy this stuff. Whatever it is, his dream or his goal, immediate priority is, then the next point could be, why is this important for you? And now you want that person to dig deep and say something which is more personal for him. That means you expect that the person should say that why it is important, because if I don't achieve this, I can see that my job will be my job is not paying enough. I will not be able to achieve this dream, and the entire plans which I have made, it will be postponed for further years. So if you don't achieve it, how would that make you feel? Now you want to touch on that pressure point, and you want to basically, you want him to feel that pain, the willingness to do. So the next question is, let me ask you something. If you don't do anything apart from your job currently or business, whatever he is doing, is there any way for you to achieve this goal in next 12 months time? And you expect that person to say that I don't have any other choice. And this is a very common question which you can use. The next question is, how confident are you if you and me will start working together and we are following a system on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 being the maximum, how are you willing to get started? How will you be able to achieve? And you want that person to come closer to that 10. So it's very important for you to get his confidence. Or your question can be, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you to get started now? What will be the practical things which you will be looking forward for? So is there any reason why you are not in number 10? If he says a number which is not closer to the 10, you can always ask him that, is there any reason why you are not in number 10 in your confidence level? And you handle that fear or that doubt. But most people will come up, how to find people, how to find the money, do you think I will have enough time? I am not a good presenter like you. These will be the fear and the doubt which most of the people will be putting up to you. And I'm going to discuss how you are going to handle that. But let's say once you handle that, then you're going to ask the next question, which is, what products are you buying to get started? How are you paying, either in USD or in credit card? The idea here is, whenever you ask questions, now all of these questions, which basically closing conversation is a series of questions. Now these questions, whenever you are asking, you are listening. Now you can have maybe 2 responses to it. People will answer. That's one response. The second is, you will feel that some people don't want to answer, or they are not answering. You may have to do a little bit of probing. So listening is something which is very important. Once you ask a question, shut up and listen. Look for the words. Look for the buying signal. So that's why we call it as ABC. Always be closing. Always be closing. In the closing conversation, you, during this entire process, look for the buying signal where you can come in. Objection handling, which is a part of the closing. And you will get 2 kinds of objections. You will get technical objection and you will get psychological objections. Technical ones are very easy to handle. That means you need to just practice along with your working upline. In fact, all of these objections are very easy. It's just that you need to practice it enough with your working upline. So you need to understand basically that if you have done it, if you handled it, if your working upline has handled one objection, you got to just write down in your notebook, how did he handle it? Because there are only 10 to 15 objections mainly, which is about our business. You are going to get repeatedly these objections. You will never get new objections. You will get almost 10 to 15 top objections, a repeated manner. One of the common objection is, which you will get is it a pyramid, or is it a scam? Is it multi-level marketing? One of the other objection can be, what if my team is not growing on one side? What if the business is stopped working? How company can pay so much amount of money? Now, all of these are technical objections. So let me just take one example and just show you And the other objection is a psychological objection, which is mainly four, which is to deal with no money, no time, no contacts. How do I find people? Where do I get contacts? And what is the guarantee? What is the guarantee of the business? What is the guarantee of the company? What is the guarantee of my commission check? What is the guarantee of the product? So it's basically guarantee in total. So whatever these objections are, the first rule, listen. The second rule, ask question. Ask question means you reconfirm whether this is the only objection which this person has. If the person says, is it pyramid? The first question is listening. First way of handling it is listening. The second way of handling it, is this the only objection which you have to get started? Or apart from this question, is there any other question which you have? And then reconfirm. That means if I answer to this, are you willing to get started now? So this is the way in which you can get a confirmation. Yes, this is the only objection which that person has. Now you ask question. What is a pyramid? So whatever he has asked you, let's say example, he asks, is it MLM? Then you can ask, what is MLM? What is a Ponzi scheme? What is pyramid? Because most of the prospects don't have a clarity about it. They may be asking you because they heard it from somewhere and they just want to basically, they are comparing. So most of these pyramids or maybe money chain or scam businesses or Ponzi schemes will never have a product. They will never have an office or the whereabouts. They will never have this kind of a track record which our company has. They will never be global. So you need to also ask a question, are you feeling that this is a pyramid just because of the structure or just because of the methodology? Because if he goes by the structure, then you can also ask that, can you tell me what could be the structure of a government? Because the government also has the same structure. There is a CM, and then there are a couple of ministers, and then there is a government force, the officers, then also the next level people. That is also a pyramid by structure. How does a corporation, how does a large corporation looks like? A large corporation also looks like a pyramid when you draw it on the structure. Because there is one CEO, there is a general managers, couple of general managers, under that the assistant managers, and then there is the workforce. So when we look into basically any kind of organization, it will look like a pyramid. Now the moment he says no, it is basically by the methodology, then you can talk about how network marketing or how referral marketing works. How we are doing the online distribution of products by eliminating the middlemen and eliminating the advertisement and marketing. And that is why company has surplus cash balance to distribute it to the distributors. And everything happens post sales. That means after sales, only the distribution happens. So we are a very legitimate business model. Let's say if the prospect gives you a comparison between another network marketing company, let's say, and they talk about another network marketing which is distributing a lot of products, then you cannot study other companies, definitely, but you can have confidence in what exactly you are doing. So gather, learn more, get more knowledge, and tell him what are the important features of our business. And ask the question, do you feel this is similar to that company? And let him give an answer to you, whether this is same or not. So this is the next objection which I have written here. What if my team is not growing on one side? It's also a very common objection. But you know the answer. The answer is basically that your network, you are the CEO. You are the person. That is why it is called as TC, tracking center. You are tracking the sales. If your business is not growing, that means that you still can introduce more customers. And your control is always with you. You could always place it on the other side and you could grow with it. Let me talk a little bit about psychological objection, which is no money, no time, no contacts, and what is the guarantee. If you understand these objections, which is psychological objection, you will always remember these are the points which we discussed in qualification. So if your qualification was perfect, if your qualification was right, you may not get these objections. But let's say your qualification happened and after that also people give you this objection. Always remember the first thing is you got to understand, you got to get into the prospect's shoes. You got to see the entire business from a prospect's point of view. Understand where is it coming from. The C, compassion. Tell him you are there in this journey, you are there with him. It is not something which is his alone journey. This is the journey which is together. This is a teamwork. We are going to work together in a team. And we will achieve it together. Carry your folder, your file. Carry your laptop, internet connection. You must have an application form printed. In your mind, you must be ready for the closing. Because if you're not, your approach is just half-hearted. You must go there into the meeting with 100% closing mindset. You must also start thinking, if this person becomes a partner, what are you going to do with him? What is the journey which he is taking along with you? It is their duty to ask questions. Let's say example, I'll give you, let's say you and your wife, when you go to a shopping mall and you want to buy, let's say, a bag, a lady's bag. And obviously she wants to buy it. You are the one who's just giving a fund for it. And let's say your budget is $150. If the salesman is very good, he is going to show you something worth of $200 or $250. Now, obviously, your budget is $150, and he is going to show you $200. Don't you ask questions? Just remember, definitely you ask questions. You ask questions in every sales process. We are not noticing it. Don't you ask that person that, do you have something lower than this? What is the guarantee of this bag? Where it is made? If the salesman shows you in blue color, you ask him, don't you have red? You ask all the time, you ask. But after that, only the sales happens. So here also, as prospects, it's their duty to ask questions. As networkers, our responsibility is to handle the questions. So the study says that 46% of our own people, when they hear first objection, they quit the business. That means your friend has asked you, the prospect has just asked you the first question, and you have already left the business. You left the prospect. You never went back to the prospect. Another 24, if they have two questions, they give up. The real successful people are in the last 12 who go through the 4 questions or the 4 set of meetings before we could close the person. So always remember, always be closing. How soon you should do it? As soon as you should do it. Let's say example, if this book is open and I kept it open, when should I close it? Immediately. If this bottle is open, when should I close it? Immediately. If the cupboard door is open, when should I close it? Immediately. Why? Because the dust and the rust and everything is going to come. Same thing. If I have shown a presentation, when should I close it? Immediately. I should have a sense of urgency in closing. So always be closing. Now many people, whatever you show them, even God will come down and say, this is the best plan which you have. They will not join. Don't expect everyone to join. So we have a golden principle which you always remember and make it as a mantra in your business, in this business for you, which is SW principle. Some will, some won't, so what? Someone else is waiting, start working. There is always a person. Remember, there is always a person who is like me, like Arun, like Manoj, like Suraj, like Gopi, Pubudu, Buddhi, so many leaders, Nuwan, Didi, who are there like they are looking forward for this opportunity. Who are just expecting that you should show them the business plan. You show the business plan and they will change their life from there onwards. They're just waiting for that. So it's our duty to go and show the business plan to them. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone else is waiting. start working. If we have not showing the business plan, we are not able to come across a new person whose life will be changed after listening to this. So that's our duty. Rejection is a part of the business. It's going to happen. Nobody is having 100% success rate. Our founder, Dato Shri Vijay Ishwaran, doesn't have 100% success rate. But he always says that if you want to become a millionaire, you have understood that you have gone through thousands of rejections. Because that have also only got you to the success what you want. So it is a part of our journey. It's a part of our business. You must be detached from the person. Because if you are detached from the person, then only you will be able to offer this business to the person. You are not depending on that person. You should be in the act of giving this business to the other person. Now, I am giving a gift. If the person doesn't take it, should I feel bad? No. And that must be the mindset. That should be the attitude what we should have. So closing is all about if you have taken the person's details, if you understood that how many BVs he is going to start with, that means how much budget he has, and what product has he zeroed in. These three things you need to find out from that prospect. Now you can do it that immediately. As the presentation finish, do it. Do one attempt. Next attempt within 48 hours. Fix up a time at the time of the presentation and do that another attempt. And that's the way to close someone. As you keep on doing this activity of presentation, closing, presentation, closing, presentation, closing, presentation, closing, you are making more money. The only way in our business is to make money is to understand that how many presentations, active presentations is happening in your organization and how many closing meetings are happening in your organization. If it's happening more, obviously you are making more money. Period. So keep this in very much in your mind that you are giving an opportunity to others. And when you are giving the opportunity to others, and if others are not taking it, it is not something which is your mistake. You have to move on. You have to go to the next. I would like to take an example from my own industry. I have seen in the breakfast time, a lot of people, like a lot of waiters, they carry on this mug of coffee with a cup and tea with a cup. And they keep asking the guests, do you want to have coffee? Do you want to have tea? Now the guests, if they are in a mood of having the coffee, they say, yes, I want to have coffee. If they're not in a mood of having the coffee, they say, I don't want coffee. But that doesn't disappoint the waiter. Have you ever seen the waiter dropping the cup pot, the coffee pot, and the teapot and immediately leaving his job and going away? Have you ever seen like that? No. But in our business, people do that. When your person, your one prospect says no, you just take up that and you leave the business and then you go away. You stop picking the phone calls of the people. So get detached. No is not, he is saying no means ask again. Ask again. No is just temporary. You ask again and no will convert into yes. In normal businesses, you will never understand the no. But in our business, you take it personally. Stop doing it. No, they are saying to the vehicle which is taking them from point A to point B. Closing. Finally, I would like to say closing is try to close yourself. Try to close yourself. Are you closed 100%? Have you closed yourself 100%? Are you 100% believing in this? Have you understood that this is your last ship? This is your last bus to the journey which you are taking.
Sure.
If you close yourself in your mind, you are able to close anybody else. Are you convinced that this is that the journey which you are taking, the vehicle which you have selected is the final one? If you have taken and you understood, you have closed yourself, you can close anybody else. If not, tonight, I want you to think, can you sign up yourself? Can you sign up yourself with 3,000 business volume again? Can you do that? What is the reason why you want to get started again into this business? So with this question, I would like to end this module. And I see you next time once again. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, AVP Balaji Kumar. It's very powerful, eyes-opening session and very informative, very simple, but very practical. So now entire network, all participants, they can apply these very important basic things to their day-to-day networking life, and especially for closings, presentations, these areas. So it will be very big way to help to do the find to and activation thing. So thank you very much, AP Balaji Kumar, finally. So this is the module 2 which we covered now. So next Tuesday, again, we will have the module 3, which will go to more deeper into the basic subjects. So don't miss what you have written, all these informations. Apply it 100% and max out at home. Good night.